Family, what it do? It's your girl Tootie, and we are back once again with another video. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out for Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Happy New Year's, everybody. It's a new year. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I wish nothing but health, blessings, and financial success for us all. You know what I mean? We all need it. We all sick of these bills. Now listen, you guys. We have the trial approaching of NaZiyah Harris. February 23rd, jury selection starts, and I believe the trial start around the 26th or something like that. Either way it go, it looks to me that we're finally about to get justice for NaZiyah Harris, and I hope many people who's involved, they all get it. They deserve it. We are now also approaching another anniversary of her going missing, being unalived. At least in the eyes of the mayor, you know what I'm saying, and things like this. But we're reaching another year to where she finally disappeared, or where she was said to disappear on January 9th. Now listen, before we got into the real trial next month, we started doing some refreshers. We're looking at some old testimonies, just to basically compare it to the things that we do in fact know now. Now, one of the biggest things that was very, very hard to stomach was the text messages between NaZiyah and Jarvis. Now, a lot of people will look at this and they will see it's graphic. It's no denying that. However, you guys, these are the things that we need to be able to change things in life. It's just simple as that. NaZiyah Harris is not the only victim of this situation, you guys. There is so many kids that suffer, just like NaZiyah did. And I want you guys to understand that. So even though reading some of these text messages, reading some of these emails, reading some of these DMs that we hear from children of predators, it's also that we think the things that we need to make change. And you'll be surprised the things that nobody know. You know what I mean? This little girl, man, nobody knew. And when you think about the number of young women that's in this household, it says to me that nobody stood a chance. And that's for real, for real. Y'all going crazy with the hype train. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. So look, y'all, we're about to get into this right now. We're about to get into it. I'm telling you right now, this is very, very graphic. So if you have, I'm just giving you guys a trigger warning right now. Okay, let's get into it.
Sergeant, I asked you yesterday about the subscriber information as it relates to People's Exhibit 16, which is for that 231-743-3137 text now number. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And I'd asked you about the phone ownership dates. What is the actual registration date as it relates to that phone number for NaZiyah Harris?
If I could look at the report to refresh.
Internet.
Yeah.
Naughty Love with the 5 gifted. Thank you, boo. Fake is the new real. Thank you, family.
The 231 number is March 4th, 2023.
Okay, and that's as it relates to NaZiyah Harris getting that number?
Yes.
Now, I want to just backtrack a little bit before getting back to the messages. You had stated yesterday that when you searched Mr. Buck's home, you had found some guns.
Yes.
Did you, in any other searches, did you find any other kind of weapons?
Yes.
And what were the, well, first, where were they found and what were they?
When we had searched Neff, there was a firearm inside the vehicle, the same vehicle that had Mr. Buck's phone. That firearm was later determined to be registered to Tashiana. When we searched Mr. Buck's car, there were several like kitchen knives in there throughout the car, various sizes. There was the weapons that were inside his home. And I believe that was as far as any weapon.
You know, that's weird to me. Why in the fuck would it be a lot of different kitchen knives in your car? Nigga? You ain't cooking? You feel me? What will be the reason for that?
Because there might have been some other type of blunt instrument or something, but nothing significant that I documented.
Okay. And Mr. Butt's vehicle that Escalade was processed,
Yes,
and those items were sent to the lab,
yes,
and that's along with Miss Latricia Johnson's Nissan.
yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk in your training and experience, having been with police for 24 years. Have you seen types of wounds made through clothing?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you saw the black hoodie that was recovered had some holes in the hood area.
yes.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with what, like either some sort of like sharp object or a gun or something of the sort? Are you familiar with what that would look like through clothing?
And yeah, at this point, I'm going to object. I think the answer would call for her to speculate on what caused these wounds.
I'm not asking her to say what caused the
I'm
holes.
call the holes. My
In this
apologies.
specific
Yeah,
case, but in her
correct.
experience.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
you may be objecting after a few questions, but for this one, overruled.
Yeah, so throughout the hundreds of scenes that I've been to, various scenes, whether they may be fatal stabbing, it may be a blunt force trauma, I've responded and processed many gunshot scenes. When there's clothing where a weapon was used, you do see that type of tearing. It could be from a bullet hole, it could be from a knife, it could also be from a struggle or pulling.
Okay. And just to be clear, you don't know how those holes got in the hood of that black hoodie.
Correct.
Okay. But those holes could be, in your experience, consistent with things that you have observed in your training and experience as it relates to struggles, stabs, bullets, things of that sort.
Correct.
Okay. Now, on Mr. Butt's phone, after that January 9th text to NaZiyah saying okay, was there any other texts to NaZiyah's number after that date?
From Mr. Butt's phone?
Yes.
No.
There was no attempts to reach NaZiyah's number on Mr. Butt's phone.
There was no contact between Mr. Butt's phone and the text now number after that.
Okay. And in your role in this case, did you go through NaZiyah's kind of social media records and things like that?
Yes.
Okay.
My brother, K Daddy, what's up, boy?
And since January 9th, 2024, have you been able to find anything as it relates, anything from NaZiyah Harris on social media?
No.
Now, we got to hear some of these text messages in the interview, but going through them, that's it. We're going to start now. Let's start with 15. Starting with people's exhibit 15. These are the messages from 313-379-5882. And you have a copy with you?
I don't have a copy of that now.
Can you read the messages that were sent from that number to Jarvis Butt's number, or I guess the messages that were captured within People's Exhibit 15? So, including the dates and approximate times.
So the first message is September 24th, 2022.
Now, here's the thing. They started talking about things, living in the houses in 2023. Now, as you can see, the first text messages between Jarvis and NaZiyah started in 2022. So that would roughly place her roughly at almost 11 years old when this was starting. So it's no telling when it really, you know what I'm saying, when it really started. We're talking about before her disappearance. So by the time 2024 got here, they was very, very comfortable.
At 22:15 hours UTC. She says, bald head Janiyah, come here.
And that's to a number that's not Mr. Butts.
Correct.
Okay.
Then the next message is on September 27th, 2022. All of these dates are from 2022. So September 27th at 1:37 a.m. UTC. It is sent to Mr. Butt's phone. We fitnessing happy birthday. Immediately after that, at the 17-second mark, again to Mr. Butt's phone, it says, come on.
Now, see, we're about to sing happy birthday. Was that Porker's birthday party when Ned jumped over there and was hollering at her? Was this where NaZiyah is talking about we're about to sing happy birthday? I wonder, is that this or was that a year later? You know what I mean? I'm going to have to look at them dates, but I wonder if that's the time. Because you remember around that time when we just looked at the birthday footage, the two people that was missing was NaZiyah and Jarvis. You know what I'm saying? And then Jarvis magically pops up. It's crazy as hell, but let's get it.
On that date, September 27th at 1:52 a.m., another message is sent to Butt's phone asking, you okay? September 27th, 2022, 1:54 a.m., she sent a message, where are we doing it at your choice?
So this is September of 2022. And they are already having a physical relationship. She would be 11 years old at this time. So for them to even be this comfortable texting, you know that you have to at least add some time to that. Because you don't get comfortable texting like this until after you've been doing it for a while. So I almost want to say she probably was in this position with this man all the way from when she was 10 years old, if not sooner. That's fucking a shame.
Immediately following that text, a message is received to NaZiyah, to this text now number, from Mr. Butt's phone that says, you tell me. 9:27, 1:55 a.m. A message is replied to Jarvis, says basement. 1:56 a.m. A message is sent to NaZiyah from Mr. Butt's phone that says, you sure? At 1:56 a.m., a message is sent to NaZiyah, from NaZiyah to Mr. Butt, saying, or job. At 1:57 a.m.
Now, I want you to listen to this now. This is 1:56 a.m. She's saying basement or job, which means that they both are comfortable leaving the house. It ain't enough hard sleeping in the world for two people. You can't escape two. And that you may be able to get over on. But Shannon too, you understand what I'm saying? We're going to get into I'm going to deep dive because there was some other areas of these text messages that's going to give you a lot of answers to these women knowing. And this is why I say motherfuck them. But listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying, bro.
Message is sent to NaZiyah from Mr. Butt's phone saying, can you suck my dick, please? The message immediately following that from Mr. Butt's phone to NaZiyah, and make sure you erase the messages. Still September 27th, 1:59 UTC. A message is sent to Mr. Butt that says, "Hey, that is what I planned to do." Another message is immediately following that at 2:01 to Mr. Butt. "You turn me on just looking at you," and then there's a bunch of letters, which possibly it's maybe an image that was sent that doesn't capture on the messages. 2:02 a.m. NaZiyah sends another message to Jarvis. "What time to be in the basement?" 2:03 a.m. he replies and sends her a message that says, "Go change your clothes and take your panties off." NaZiyah replies to Mr. Butt and says the letter K. At 2:10 a.m., so 7 minutes later, a message is sent from NaZiyah to Jarvis's phone. "I hear you. What you looking at?" Jarvis replies back immediately to her saying the letter U. At 2:13 a.m. UTC, still on September 27th, NaZiyah sends Jarvis a message that says, "I know, I'm finna sleep good." There's another message directly after that that has a bunch of symbols, so I'm not sure if it was one of those little emojis. 2:14 a.m., she sends to him, "What about you?" The next message she sends to him immediately after, "Sometimes I be wanting to live with you." 2:16 a.m., she sends to him, "You know what I mean." 2:18 a.m., she sends, "What time I'm ready." 2:23 a.m., she sends to Mr. Butt's phone number, "We not doing it or what?" 2:23 a.m., NaZiyah sends to Mr. Butt, "I really want you." This is still on the same day, September 27th, 2022. This is now 2:23 a.m. UTC time. Mr. Butt replies to NaZiyah, "Yes." 2:24 a.m. NaZiyah sends, "Pull your car down the street and come back. I'll be waiting." 2:25 a.m. Jarvis's phone replies back to her, "Come ride with me and NaZiyah." 2:25 a.m. she replies, "Did they say I can come?" At 2:30 UTC, she sends him
2:30 UTC. What would that be? That's 5 hour. You have to subtract 5 hours, correct? So 2:30, that'd be 1:30, 12:30, 11:30, 10:30, 9:30. So 9:30 p.m. still is crazy as hell. Even if you say 9:30 p.m., that is still too much activity in the house. You were talking about upwards of 7 children living in this house. There is no way in the world that all of these kids are asleep. She's still asking at 8:30 p.m. at night, the basement or the shop. Either way it goes, it's ridiculous. However, it does match up with Brooklyn's testimony, because Brooklyn said that the sun would be setting, but he would take her up to the shop by herself. So this is what I'm trying to explain. It wasn't no type ship with nobody. These little girls was going and coming as they please because the mamas didn't give a fuck. That's just the fact of the matter. You feel what I'm saying? Listen, at 8:30, the kids should be winding down and getting in the bed. It is no way in the world that the child should be unaccounted for at 8:30 p.m. I don't give a fuck with nobody. What? Since when? The 10 and 12 and 11-year-olds, this happened. Come on, bro.
A message that says, I'm sorry.
Right now, that would make NaZiyah 11. 2022. She's 11. Which means Janiyah is 9. Which means Brooklyn is even younger than that. 7 or 6. So you mean to try to tell me that these kids could go anywhere? Come on, bro.
But love you. 2:30.
And that new.
UTC, he immediately replies back, come on. 2:31, NaZiyah replies, I can't, I'm going to get in trouble. The next message is at 2:35. She sends, when you come back, drop Nye off, pull your car down the street, and I'll come in the base, I'll be waiting. Then immediately after that, she sends, basement, please. Jarvis replies, okay. At 2:40, Jarvis replies, you in the basement yet? Immediately after that, NaZiyah replies back, yeah. Now we are the next day being, it's now September 28th, 2:28 a.m. UTC. She sends Jarvis a message that says, are we doing it tonight? I'm ready, fresh out the shower.
And I want some of you absent-minded women to understand something. This little girl was 11 and 12 years old. Her body became a survival mechanism. And I want y'all to understand that real hard. A lot of people will read these text messages and they'll just automatically assume that she was this way and she was fast. You got to understand, since she was a small child, and we don't even know how far this went back. You dig? This probably went back so far. We don't know how far this went back, but this has become what she's known. With a dog, a baby, whatever the case may be. When they come into the world and they don't know nothing, they only know what you teach them, okay? This was all she was taught. I need y'all to understand that shit real bad. It was all that she was taught. You feel me? And it wasn't just happening with her. It was happening with a lot of young girls. You know what I'm saying? So I need you to understand there's a difference. This was the only person who was paying her attention. Saying that she was beautiful. Saying all of these things. She wasn't getting it from parents. She wasn't getting it from aunties. She wasn't getting it from grandmamas. So she loved where she was at. It doesn't make her promiscuous. It makes her a child that didn't know no better, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I need y'all to get that part, because y'all don't understand that grooming shit is serious. It's serious. You know what I mean? It ain't fair for y'all to be titling her a certain way because this was all she knew. It don't work like that, bro.
The next message is a reply from him to her. Well, this is September 30th now at 1:25 a.m. UTC. He replies, yo. September 30th, 2:59. She replies, you coming over? She then sends another message directly after that, don't have school. At 3:07, a reply is received to NaZiyah from Jarvis saying, yep. She then replies, okay, we'll be waiting. At 3:17 a.m., he sends another message, she sends a message to Jarvis that says, text me when you get here. At 3:21 a.m., this is still September 30th date, Jarvis replies and sends a message to her saying, outside. Now we have skipped to September 30th, but it is now on here at 23:13 hours UTC. She sends a message to Jarvis saying, hey boo, you coming over? The next message is now October 1st, 2022, 1:51 UTC. She sends a message to Jarvis asking, "You coming?"
They were really comfortable with the texting and meeting in 2022. So I'm almost willing to believe that he started really assaulting her all the way back in 2021, if not 2020. You know what I mean? Because you don't get this comfortable with texting and calling like this, you know what I'm saying, unless you done had a lot of practice. And that puts her at like roughly around 10 years old. Shawty, she didn't stand a chance, bro.
And are there any other messages to Jarvis after that? Or is your butt stalled?
No.
Okay. And now, do those indicate whether or not they were deleted?
Yes.
Okay. And how many of those were deleted? Or how many of them were not deleted? That's a better question.
Looks like all of them were deleted except for the one where she was, at the very beginning, she had actually texted somebody else, which I believe might have been Shannon's phone at the time, saying, "Bald head Janiyah, come here." But all the messages between the 8719, which is Jarvis's number, are marked on here as deleted except, let's see. On September 30th, the "Hey Boo, you coming over?" And the "You coming" text, those ones were not deleted and still show on here.
Okay, so those last two.
Yes.
Now, going through people's exhibit 16 messages, as it relates to the 231-743-3137. Oh, I'm sorry, before that, without telling us NaZiyah's actual birthday, in September 24th, 2022, what age had NaZiyah just turned?
In 22,
Yes.
she would have just turned 12.
Now, do you have a set of these the messages from the 231 number?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to go through those. And there are sections that are highlighted, and I want to follow along. What is the first message that is sent?
It is sent on March 4th, 2023 at 23:35 UTC. It's sent to Jarvis's 8719 number, and it says, "It's me, NaZiyah."
Okay. And just for clarification purposes, all the messages within this exhibit are sent to Jarvis's 8719 number.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to jump to March 16th of 2023. There's a highlighted message there. Can you read that one?
Yeah. So just before that, the UTC time on here, just so I'm not having the math throughout, from March 10th to November 3rd, it would be -4 hours. So any date that falls within those days would be -4. Any dates outside of those ranges would be -5 hours.
And you said that's
But I'm going to read it off of here with the time that's stamped and date.
okay. You said that's March 10th through November.
3rd,
Okay, that's -4 UTC.
-4, yes.
Okay. So continue with that.
Yep, so March 16th, 2023 at 0006 hours, she receives a message from Jarvis that says, "Stop messing with people and just be mine."
And was that deleted?
No.
Now, moving on to,
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to a lot of the text messages that wasn't deleted. Because I guarantee you, Cash Money, Shannon seen these ones. Okay? And that's the reason why she was hot as hell when she called and checked that nigga. She wanted to make it seem like it was no real threat. Because she didn't want it to look like she had a motive. Okay? But let me tell you something. The ones that this lady is saying that wasn't deleted, these are the ones that girl was able to see. You best believe that shit. You feel what I mean? And I guarantee you, her seeing text messages of this nigga saying stop messing with everybody and just be mine, these were the ones that really tore her ass up. And I want you to understand that shit.
Moving on to May 3rd, 2023. There's a set of highlighted messages. Can you read those?
Yes, so these messages are May 3rd, 2023, starting at 15:06. Jarvis sends a message that says, I'm coming to get you.
15:06. Now this would have been 3:06. Now I guess they're doing military time. So he hitting her right now at 3:06. This would have been when she was supposed to either be in after school program. Now we know that the after school teacher said that this nigga would come up here sometimes and pick her up and pose at her dad as her dad. Now we don't know if these one of those cases, but at 3:06 she would have just been getting out of the school. You feel what I mean? And he's texting saying he's coming to get her. Let's get it.
Immediately after, NaZiyah replies, what you mean? Jarvis then replies to her, you heard me. Immediately after that, NaZiyah replies to Jarvis, you can't do that. Then sends another message immediately after, which is now still 15:07 hours, that says, I'm finna go to lunch, love you.
And were any of those messages deleted?
No.
Now moving to May 30th of 2023.
May 30th, 2023 at 13:01 hours, she sends a message to Jarvis that says, I miss you. At 13:02 hours, he replies back, the letters I-M-U, and then the number 2.
And were either of those deleted?
No.
And what about starting with May 31st of 2023?
May 31st, 2023, this is at 13:37 hours. He sends her a message that says, I can't stop thinking about you either. The next message then goes and starts is now June 5th.
You would be right, Kimmy. You would be right, exactly. It would have been her going to lunch, so he texting her at school. You right. You showing the fuck right.
2023 at 11:59 p.m. Well, 11:59 UTC. She sends a message to Jarvis. Hey, you may think I'm ignoring you, but I'm not. My phone broke. At 12 o'clock, another message is sent. So I will text you off this number. At 12:01, same date, she sends him a message. Are you mad at me? At 12:01, he replies back to her, yes. At 12:02, she replies back the letter Y. At 12:03, she sends, please don't be mad. At 12:04, she sends, can you tell me why you mad at me, yes or no? At 12:05, he replies to her saying, I haven't seen or talked to you.
Okay, now well, first, were any of those deleted?
No.
Okay, now I want to actually go to one that I did not highlight. 12:08, June 5th, 12:08 and 28 UTC.
Boy, you know some of the messages was tearing Shannon's ass up. Up! Shannon saw all of that. You feel what I mean? All of this. You know that girl got into all of this shit. Yo, she seen all of this. And I know it had to hit different. I mean, listen, you got to look at it from a woman's perspective still. You feel what I mean? This could not be easy to swallow for Shannon. You done popped out 5 of this nigga's puppies. And he don't like you. He don't like you.
Through June 5th, 12:08 and 49 UTC. Can you read those?
Those three?
Yes.
Okay, so June 5th, 2023, 12:08, 28 seconds. He sends her a message with the letters WYA at 12:08, 35 seconds. She replies, school. 12:08, 49. He sends her a message that says, I'm at your house.
And now, I want to go, actually, can you keep reading through June 5th at 12:09? Oh. 12:09 and 4 seconds.
So the next, so just one more message down?
Yeah, just keep reading it.
Okay. 12:08, June 5th, he had sent to her, I'm at your house. At 12:09 and 4 seconds, she says, damn, we was just. Then immediately after that is another text that says, there. Then at 12:11, she sends him, you bet not be in my room. At 12:12, she sends, I need another phone. At 12:13, she sends, I miss you. At 12:14, he sends her a message that says, I stole your panties.
Okay. And now, were any of those messages deleted?
No.
Now I want to go to June 16th. There's some highlighted messages there.
June 16, 2023, at 2:50 a.m. and 25 seconds, she sends to Jarvis, didn't I make you come faster than ever? On June 17, at 8:59 and 06 seconds, she sends to Jarvis, I'm sorry for making you mad, but do you ever think how I feel knowing that I can't have you to myself, but you have me to yourself, and no, I'm not seeing anybody else, I swear.
And were either of those deleted?
No.
Now I want you to go down.
Y'all, for this lady to sit on the stand and make it seem like she ain't seen none of this shit, she seen it. That's what I was telling y'all. I needed y'all to pay attention to the ones that this lady was saying was not deleted. Because the ones that was not deleted was for sure seen by Shannon. And it's sad. Because that will make any fucking woman liable to crash out. I'm not lying. Dead ass.
On the page to June 23rd. There's a set that are highlighted.
Yes. June 23rd, 2023, at 23:54 hours, she sends a message to Jarvis, the letter U, then you going to hit it from the back again, with question marks. At the next day, which is now June 24th, at 19:11 hours, he sends her a message that says, send me some pictures, please. At 19:20, she replies, don't you still got the other pics? At 19:47, he replies to that and says, no. At 20:19 hours, she sends to him, I will send some.
And now moving through to June 26th. There's a set highlighted there. Oh wait, sorry, first, those ones that you just read, were those deleted?
Yes.
Okay, now moving to June 26th.
June 26, 2023, at 16:31 hours, she sends a message to Jarvis that says, call me when you have time. At 16:33 hours, he replies back to her, I want some pussy. At 16:33 hours and 50 seconds, she replies back to him, You can have some. At 16:39 hours and 41 seconds, he replies to NaZiyah, when? At 16:49 hours and 28 seconds, she sends to Jarvis, whenever you come get me. At 21:16 hours, she sends to Jarvis, call me, want to tell you something, S-U-M. At 21:24 hours, she sends a message to Jarvis that says, you can get some today. At 21:24.
I seriously think that this man was just making children that he can victimize. It is very clear that he didn't like none of his baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? This is some sad shit. Sad.
4 hours, she sends another message that says, you can get some pussy today.
And were any from that set deleted?
Yes, all of them.
All of them, okay. Now moving to June 27th. There's a set that's highlighted. Can you read those, please?
Yes. June 27th at 7:55 UTC. There is a incoming call to NaZiyah from Jarvis that is listed as a missed call, and the name on here that she has this number saved is Bae for Life, B-A-E, the number 4, and then life. Then at 7:56, he sends her a text that says, are you naked yet? At 7:58, she replies to him and says, no, I don't want to get naked. At 7:59, she replies, are you mad that I didn't get naked? At 8:01 hours, he sends to her, I used to you telling me no. At 8:06, still on June 27th, he sends her a message that says, she sends him a message that says, come on, babe, I'm sorry, just not in the mood right now, I'm sorry.
Okay, and were those messages deleted?
Yes.
Okay, now, jumping to just a little later in the day, on June 27th, there's a set highlighted.
So on June 27th, now at 16:24 hours, he sends her a message that says, but I can't nut inside you, so it's different. At 16:25, she replies, why you can't? Didn't you do it before? At 16:25 and 40 seconds, he replies, but I had to buy a pill to do so. At 16:26, she replies to him, yeah, you right. At 16:26, 28 seconds, she sends, but what you doing, but it's abbreviated WYD. At 16:28 and 45 seconds, she sends to him, are you busy? With a question mark. And those were deleted.
Thank you. Now, jumping forward to June 28th.
On June 28th, so this next set in here, they're all sent from NaZiyah to Jarvis.
Yes.
And they start at 17:10 on June 28th, 2023. And it starts off as, Bae, I didn't go see nobody. I swear I came straight back. At 17:11.
The way an Air Force One would have towed the back of his head up, shouting. I ain't even fucking bullshitting, bro. An Air Force One would have hit him so in the back of his head so hard. No cap. You know what I mean? The bailiff and everything would have been on me, man. But I promise you to God that he would have got struck with an Air Force One.
My friend lived right down the street. She didn't answer her, so I came back and went to sleep. The next message, Babe, please, I'm sorry. Immediately after that, she says, I didn't sneak out for nobody, I swear. 17:12:58 seconds, she says, I know you having a rough day, but I swear I'm not lying. At 17:14, she says, babe, please, I swear I didn't go see no niggas. 17:14, she says, I don't talk to nobody but you. 17:15, she says, I was only out for 5 or 10 minutes, I came straight back. 17:15:56 seconds.
The control that he started to establish over this little girl, man, is pissing me off so bad. You know what I mean? You sitting over here acting like...
You didn't respond to none of my messages, so I thought you were asleep, so I went to sleep. 17:17. Why won't you believe anything I tell you? I'm not like other girls. There is no need for me to lie to you. 17:18. You said I'm all yours, but you acting like it. You are overthinking it. I just want to be yours. 17:19. Please stop ignoring my calls. You don't want me to see nobody, and I'm not. 17:20. Babe, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. 17:21. I promise you there is no one else. 17:24. If you don't believe me, I will send you my Instagram password.
Now, these next messages from 17:24 to 17:25. Don't read what the username and passwords are. Just that they were sent.
So the next message is she's sending her Instagram username and a password along with her Gmail email and giving the password to that as well.
Okay. And now, starting again with 17:26.
So on June 28th, still 17:26, the next message is still all being sent to Jarvis from NaZiyah are, I hope you believe me now. You really don't want to believe me, but I will tell you the truth every time. Immediately after that, I just want to make your day better, babe. I'm sorry. Feel free to log in at any time or go through my messages. Now at 17:42, she says, I only want to be with you. At 18:09, babe, I'm sorry for not telling. I swear I will next time, please. Still 18:09, babe, I love you. Please call me back. Now at 18:18, come on, babe, please. At 18:19, so what if I will be able to get out tonight and I'm calling you and texting you, are you still going to ignore me? At 18:21, she says, you are so busy, I feel like you don't want me. This is why I don't open up to you. Because if I do, you get mad and don't want to talk. So how am I going to trust you? I do, but you don't trust me. It's up to if you want to be with me or not. At 18:45, she says, I didn't do anything wrong. I don't get why you so upset. At 18:46, all I tried to do is make you happy, but clearly I'm not enough for you. Cut me off. I don't anymore. You FRL, for real. Never even fucked with me. All I want is you to love me. At 18:47, I tried so hard, but you don't understand that. I'm sorry if you feel like I'm cheating. But I'm not. I gave passwords and all that, and all. What more do I have to prove I'm not cheating?
You know, I wish the motherfucker in the court would blow their nose. You know what I mean? It sounds like they're in there with a whole 8 ball. Can you please sniff your ass away from the mic? I don't even understand I can hear him like that near the mic.
Now this message is when Jarvis actually finally replies, which is at 18:55. He sends to her, "I'm working, love."
And were those messages deleted?
Yes.
Now, moving on to June 29th.
I wish they'd spin this camera around so I can find a nose that's sniffing like this. Now, I know it ain't the judge, it ain't this lady. It's one of them prosecutors or something that's sniffing the fuck out of the courtroom. We can't even hear the testimony.
June 29, 2023 at 21:44 hours. She sends to Jarvis, "When you off work." At 21:49, she sends, "Pick me up before you pick up Janiyah." At 22:02, she sends, "Hope to see you soon." At 22:47, she sends, "I'm never getting out of this hellhole." At 22:48, he replies with the letter Y. At 22:48, she sends, "She will never let me out. It's so boring over here." 22:50, she sends, "Well, I will." She has the word she on here. UTM. And then the very next text after that, it says, "I will see you tomorrow." Then at 22:50, he replies to her, "Or tonight."
And were those
You know, he totally disregarded this little girl's feelings for his own shit. To me, that is just showing I'm never getting out of this hellhole. That's saying to me a little girl that feels trapped. And she's already trying to tell this man, look, I'm going through some shit in so many terms. I'm going to see you tomorrow. And he just going to come back and say, or tonight. It just straight disregards her feelings. I can't stand him.
messages deleted?
Yes.
Now, continuing on June 29th.
June 29th, 22:52 hours. NaZiyah sends, "Are you still picking up Janiyah?" 22:53, he replies, "When?" 22:53, she sends to him, "Today." At 22:53, he replies back, "No." 22:53, 18 seconds, she sends the letter Y. 22:53, he sends back to her, "It's just me and you." At 22:53, he sends another message that says, "Because I was never picking her up." At 22:53, she replies, "Okay, I really like that it's only me and you." 22:54, he sends back, "You really didn't want her there no way." At 22:54, she replies, "I know I didn't want her there."
And it's only because he was having relations with both girls. We now know that. And that's sad. Because it was a competition that was starting to brew for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? It's very fucking sad. Like you ain't even want to parent your daughter because you trying to get some. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad. It's sad.
22:55, he replies to her with the letter Y. 22:55, she sends back, "Cause she do too much and you mine." 22:57.
That response right there lets me know. That response right there lets me know that everybody was aware of everybody. Everybody was able to see it. This is ridiculous as fuck.
Jarvis replies to NaZiyah saying, "Meaning?" 22:58, he then sends, "And Shan said that she said no." Then the next message from him is, "For today." At 23:06, NaZiyah sends Jarvis, I know she said no for today. And then at 23:07, NaZiyah sends, the meaning is you're mine and mine only, the dick, and all you're mine and will stay mine. At 23:14, she sends, I want to know the meaning when you say I'm yours. The date on here is now June 30th at 0016 hours. Jarvis replies to her and says, all of you. Immediately after that, your mind, body, and soul. At 0017 hours, he sends to NaZiyah, the pussy, ass, mouth, legs, arms, face, and then he has the word everything in all caps. At 0119 hours, she replies, oh really? And then there's some type of emoji. Immediately after that, she says, want to see that tomorrow? And it's the same little symbols on there. At 0247 hours, he sends back to her, meaning. It's now 0603 hours. She sends to him, when we fuck. Then at 6:06:24 hours, he sends a message to her, what you doing, but it's just the letters WYD.
And were those messages all deleted?
Yes.
Okay. Now moving later in the day to June 30th.
June 30th at 22:18 hours, Jarvis sends to NaZiyah, I'm outside. Then the next message is at 23:36 hours, he sends to NaZiyah, go take them panties off. At 23:37 hours, NaZiyah sends, are we going to the room? 23:37, Jarvis replies, IDK, meaning I don't know. 23:38, she sends to him the letters PLS, or please. 23:38, he replies to her the letter Y. 23:39, she replies back and says, because we got more space. 23:39, he then sends a message to her that says, to do. She then immediately replies, to fuck, WYM, or what you need. Then immediately after that, she sends to him, we going or what?
And moving forward to July 1st. Oh, first of all, were any of those messages just deleted?
All of these were deleted.
Okay. Now to July 1st.
July 1st, 2023 at 14:31, she sends a message to Jarvis that says GM for good morning. At 15:22, he replies GM Twitter. At 15:24, she sends back, whatever, I was tired. And at 15:28, she sends, still my dick though. At 15:28, he sends to her, there's 3 letter B's, so it's VVV dot BE, and then a space N, and then the uppercase Q and the lowercase q, as we know. He then sends another message at 15:28 with the words no. At 15:29, she sends, okay, fine. Yo, pussy, my dick. He then replies to her at 15:38, who said? She sends back to him, me. It's your pussy.
And were those deleted?
Yes.
And I want to stay on that same page for a second. Sorry. messages on July 1st, starting from 1907 to 2135.
July 1st, 1907, he sends a message to her that says, I'm trying to fuck. At 1952, she replies back, okay. At 1952, she sends a message that says, WSP, meaning what's up. Then at 2134, she sends, you still coming, or you was playing about trying to fuck? At 2135, he replies back to NaZiyah, I'm serious.
And were those deleted?
Yes.
And now moving on to July 2nd.
July 2nd, 2023 at 15:46 hours, Jarvis sends a message to NaZiyah that says, can I get my dick sucked today? At 15:47, she replies, sure, no problem.
You know, I want this motherfucker to get so ragged. I want these motherfuckers to get so ragged. Like, seriously, somebody in the comments said who was deleting the message. You know what? I'm almost certain that Shannon might have deleted some of them. She might have read some of these, but then there's some of these that she never had seen before, that she's seeing now, or hadn't been seen. And it's just like everything that you might have questioned should have been confirmed.
Problem. At 15:50, Jarvis replies, yeah, okay. At 15:53, NaZiyah replies, I'm serious, you can. At 16:33, NaZiyah sends, there's going to be some type of photo that would have been sent at this time. At 17:08, there's a reply from Jarvis where it says, liked an image. Then at 17:08, Jarvis says, I'm going to sneak in, okay? At 17:08, NaZiyah replies back, why? 17:08, he says, who is up? At 17:09, she replies, everybody. At 17:09, Jarvis sends some type of photo to NaZiyah. Immediately after that, she replies, well, damn, I want to lay with you. Then at 17:10, from NaZiyah, are you here already? At 17:12, Shan told the kids that you said you was on your way, so they know you coming. At 17:13, NaZiyah sends, I want to see you. 17:21, NaZiyah sends, so am I just giving you head, or we fucking too, because looking at that picture made me horny.
So he had to send her a DP. You feel me? This is a sad ass nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? This is a sad ass person, man.
At 17:22, Jarvis replies to her, you tell me. 17:22 and 29 seconds, she says, I want to fuck too. Immediately after that, she says, so can we? And then at 17:22, 49 seconds, Jarvis replies back to her, yep.
And were those messages deleted?
Yes.
Okay. And now, later in the day, on June 2nd, or I'm sorry, July 2nd, there's a set of messages there.
Yes. July 2nd, 2023, starting at 18:41 hours, she says to Jarvis, I want to fuck. At 18:41, do you? 19:04.
Coco, that's exactly what it is. She doing anything she can just to be near him. And it's really not physical to her. But she's using the physical aspect just to be able to be near. And see, that's the thing that you know that she's missing a lot from home. She's missing a lot from home. She just wants to feel like she belongs to something. And see, what he's doing is he's taking advantage of that vulnerability. Now, if he's able to use and to be able to trick grown ass women that are 30 plus, okay? If he's able to manipulate those women that's grown, can you imagine the impact that it's having on a child who doesn't even know what it means to have real relationships? See, you got to understand, NaZiyah at this age don't even know what it means to have a real relationship, like a mom or dad relationship. So she has no examples of what love is really supposed to look like. And that is the sad part of this shit, bro. It is so sad.
Or, are you busy, yes or no? 2006, she sends, text me when you not on BS about fucking, cause you playing. At 2015, she sends, all I'm trying to say, I just want your body on mine. At 2044, she says, hey, where you at? 2152, she says, I'm trying to fuck. 2358, she says, she fitting to walk to the store. So now the date's changed to July 3rd and the hours are 0042. She sends, before we go. At 0042, 31 seconds, she sends, go upstairs in the bathroom. At 0042, 48 seconds, Jarvis replies to her, why? At 0042, 54 seconds, NaZiyah replies back, just go. At 0111 hours, NaZiyah sends, we doing something or what? At 0112, he replies to her, yep. At 0123, she replies, I want to lay with you. At 0130, he replies, I'm going upstairs. At 0131, she sends, okay, Shan going up there too. At 0131, she says, I just want to chill with you. At 0132, he sends back to her, is she? 0132, NaZiyah replies, yes, you know she wants some dick. So she going to follow you upstairs. And then at 0143 hours, she sends him another picture. 0143, he replies, not getting any. And then immediately after that, the message says from him to her, this is your dick. At 0144, NaZiyah sends, I know it's mine. Give her some dick, so ask and shut up. At 0144, give her some so she can shut up and leave you alone. She only acting like that because she's horny. At 0148, Jarvis replies, I want to see you. Immediately after that, his next message is, while you in the shower. Then at 0155, she sends him a photo. It is now 0204 hours, he sends her a message that says, I don't want to give her no dick. At 0210 hours, these next set of messages are all from NaZiyah. It says, come back downstairs. Damn, you scared. At 0244 hours, she says, hurry up. I want you back. At 0250 hours, she says, come downstairs so I can sit on it real quick. At 0252 hours, she says, I promise it's not going to be long, just a few, but it's FRW, up and downs, please. Then immediately, right after that is 0253, she sends the same message, but it's spelled correctly. It says, I promise It's not going to be long, just a few up and downs.
And were all of those messages deleted?
Yes.
Now, moving to July 4th.
July 4th, 2023, at 15:43 hours, NaZiyah sends Jarvis a message that says, "In the shower right now, I'll text you when I get out." Jarvis then replies, "Hope you know that we fucking today." At 15:43 hours, she replies back, "Okay, fine with me. I was waiting yesterday. At 16:20, she sends him a picture. At 16:20, she sends, "I'm out." At 16:56, a message is received to her. It's loved an image. 16:56, she sends a message, "Are you busy?" It is now July 5th, 05:01 hours. She sends him a message that says, "You was right, it hit different outside."
And were those messages deleted?
Yes.
And moving to July 6th.
July 6, 2023 at 03:05 hours. NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, "Yes, I can tell when you come." 03:05 hours, why? Now at 03:20 hours, she sends him a message that says, "So doesn't that mean I'm pregnant?" At 03:21 hours, she sends him a message, "I don't know, so I'm asking you." At 03:33, Jarvis replies to NaZiyah, "No." 03:39, she replies back, "Hey." It now jumps to 13:10 hours, still on July 6th. She sends the letters GM. Then at 1400 hours, she sends, "I want to fuck." At 14:25, he replies, "How?" At 14:26, she says, "I don't know, you got work and I'm just horny." At 14:27, he replies and sends her a message that says, "Where is your Nana?" At 14:45, she sends, "Upstairs getting ready." At 14:54, Jarvis sends to her, "She fitting to go?" Then at 14:57, he sends the message, "Hello." At 15:03, NaZiyah replies, "I don't know." The next message is, "Are you at work?" And at 15:07, NaZiyah sends, "I will let you know." At 15:08, she sends, "You might can slide if you not so busy at work." At 15:08, Jarvis replies back to NaZiyah, "Yeah." At 15:08, he then sends, "I'm trying to slide." At 15:13, NaZiyah sends to Jarvis the word question. Then at 15:13, he replies back, "Yes." At 15:14, she sends, "Do you like your girls skinny?" At 15:14, he replies, "Why you ask that?" At 15:14, she replies, "Just asking," and then there's some type of emojis that must have been sent.
And were those messages deleted?
Yes.
Okay. And moving just a little later in the minutes on July 6th.
Yes, July 6, 15:35, NaZiyah sends, "I don't think she's going anywhere." At 15:37, Jarvis sends to NaZiyah, "That's messed up because I was gonna fuck the shit out of you." At 15:37, she sends, "I still want you to do it." At 15:40, she says, sends a message that says, so am I going to see you today on your break?" At 15:59, Jarvis replies, "How?" At 16:01, NaZiyah sends, don't you supposed to be bringing me the money anyway, so I will see you? 16:03, she says, unless you are going to go to the store and get me some pads and other personal things. 16:03, there's some type of emojis that are sent. 16:24, she sends, I'm down to my last 3 pads. I would ask Nana, but I can't fit her big pads. I have a little pussy, they shit big. And
Nana still need a pad. How old is Nana? you know, I don't like none of these motherfuckers. I'm just over this bitch really trying hard to just not let the crazy come out. Because I'm not understanding. She had a period here. She did. But here's the thing though. You living in, I'm not understanding why Nana or Shannon would have made sure that all the girls in the house who's ministrating made sure that they stayed stocked up. These little girls is 12, 13 years old. They shouldn't have to ask for pads.
at 17:41, she sends a bunch of question marks with the letters WYA. 17:57, she says, what do I supposed to do? What do I supposed to use? 17:57, she sends another set of question marks. At 18:08, Jarvis replies with the word, huh?
He don't got no words for her when she needs some pads. But soon as she says she want to sleep with him, then he answers right away. You see how everybody and their mama was just using this girl, man? It don't make no fucking sense. Thank you so much, Lady Shaw. That's right, sub up. Everybody in the chat right now, send a sub. 1 sub, let's send it. Let's start a 1 sub hype train.
18:10, NaZiyah says, I don't have any more pads. 18:10, I need to get some more and you plan. At 18:12, she sends, babe, please. And all of those messages were deleted.
Okay. And moving to July 7th.
Straight in order.
July 7th, 2023 at 14:34 hours, and NaZiyah sends a message that says, so what you on today? The next message at 14:35, she says, you trying to fuck or what? At 14:37, Jarvis replies back, yes. 14:38, NaZiyah sends, I'm sorry. 14:38 again, she sends, but I hope to see you today. At 14:39, she says, I didn't know if you were up last night, so I stopped calling and texting. And those messages were deleted.
And now moving to July 10th.
July 10th, 2023 at 16:41 hours. NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, you trying to get up in this today? At 16:45, he replies, all the time. At 18:54, she sends, you eat lunch yet? Then immediately after, she sends some question marks. Now at 19:54, NaZiyah sends, your job's so empty. 19:55, she sends, I was just there. At 19:59, Jarvis replies the letters I and K, or I know. At 19:59, he sends, how you know? At 20:14, Jarvis sends, what's up? 20:39, as I replies, I didn't want you to see me. 20:39 hours, so I left. At 20:40, Jarvis sends a message to NaZiyah saying, who is with you? At 20:40, she replies, nobody. 20:40, again, 37 seconds, she says, you working late today? At 20:40 hours, 38 seconds, Jarvis sends to her, so how did you get to my job? At 20:40, 48 seconds, he then sends, no. 20:40 and 58 seconds, NaZiyah replies, I walked up there. At 20:41, Jarvis replies back to her, so walk now. At 20:41, NaZiyah replies, I can't, Nana's back. At 20:42, she sends, can you pull up today since you're not working late? 20:42, she sends a couple question marks. Then he replies at 20:42 and 29 seconds with the word yup, and those messages were deleted.
And moving on to July 11th.
July 11, 2023 at 18:43 hours, NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, I want to fuck. At 1900 hours, he replies, when? At 2012 hours, she sends the three letters NVM, or never mind. At 2038, she sends, I took a shower. At 21:32, she sends, I be trying so hard not to think about you, but the dick too good not to think about you, and I miss you rubbing on my thigh. The date is now July 12th, and this is at 00:35 hours. She sends, we might go over sham crib. At 02:55 hours, she sends, I'm fitting to hop in the shower, call as soon as you get done doing whatever. I want you to tell me how you going to give me my dick for my B-day. Tell me nice and slow and sexy so I can play NVM, you know.
And were those deleted?
Yes.
Okay. And later on July 12th.
July 12th at 14:38 hours, NaZiyah sends, good morning. Then at 16:47 hours,
They had way too much interaction and physicality for nobody to not know. There's just no way. There's no way that all of this was going on and nobody knew something. It's no way possible. It was too much communication, period.
she sends, did I have panties on?
Sunflower, thank you for the sub. Lady Shot, thank you for the sub.
16:47,
Rise,
Jarvis
thank you for the sub.
replies, no.
Sai, thank you for the sub.
At 16:50, NaZiyah sends him some question marks. And then at 1700, she has a missed call from Jarvis's number. It says missed call. She still has him saved in here as Babe for life. At 19:18 hours, she sends, how did you know? At 23:09 hours, she sends, you busy? At 23:11 hours, there is an incoming missed call again from Jarvis's number, missed call from Babe for life. It's now July 13th, 01:44 hours. NaZiyah has sent him a picture. Immediately after that, she sends a text that says shower pic, and then there's some emojis. At 01:49, she says, damn, no response. At 01:49, 21 seconds, she sends some type of emojis again, and all of those messages were deleted.
And now moving to July 22nd.
Before we move on, I need y'all to give you a moment, a break.
I gotta go a little bit longer.
Okay, here we go.
The judge over it.
No.
The judge is over. Hold on, y'all. The judge is over.
July 22nd, 2023 at 14:56 hours, NaZiyah sends, "Bae, I wanna fuck." Then at 14:57 he replies, "Work." Immediately after that he replies, "I do too." 14:57 NaZiyah replies, "No you don't." 14:57 Jarvis replies, "I do." Immediately after that Jarvis sends, "WYA." Or where are you at? 14:57 NaZiyah sends, "I'm at the crib." 14:57 hours and 57 seconds, Jarvis replies, "Come on." At 14:58, NaZiyah replies, "Shan and Nana went to Family Dollar." The next message says, "I can't, I wish I could." At 14:58, Jarvis replies, "How long are they going to be?" At 14:58, NaZiyah sends to him, "IDK," or "I don't know." The next message is, "I'm so horny." Then at 14:59, she sends, "I want a hug from you." At 15:01, Jarvis sends her a message that says, "I'm on my way," with the exclamation point. "I just got off the phone with Shan. They are at the bar shop." And
Were
those
those messages
messages weren't deleted yet.
And moving to July 24th.
July 24, 2023 at 03:24 hours, NaZiyah sends Jarvis a message that says, "Don't park in front." Immediately Jarvis replies, "Why?" Then at 03:25 Jarvis sends, "You act like you're gonna come outside." At 03:25 NaZiyah sends, "I can't, I have guests." 03:25 she sends, "And people do watch and look at the house all night." At 03:26 she sends, "Just park down the street, please. Thank you." 03:26 hours, Jarvis replies to her, "Who?" NaZiyah then replies back, "People on the block." At 03:26 Jarvis replies, "Who is the guest?" At 03:26 NaZiyah says, "My girlfriend, Vari's girlfriend." 03:27 NaZiyah sends, "I took his bitch." Then at 03:27 Jarvis replies to her, "She is our bitch." At 03:27 NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, "She 14, about to be 15." At 03:28 she sends, "Are you close?" At 03:28 Jarvis replies, "Is she our bitch or no?"
So she took Vari girl, right? Lord have mercy. Let's keep going.
03:28 NaZiyah replies, "Yes." Jarvis then replies to her and says, "You fake." 03:28 NaZiyah says, "How? She is our bitch." At 03:29 she says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you mad." 03:30 Jarvis replies to her, "She don't know about us, right?" 03:31 Jarvis then says, "But is she trustworthy?" At 03:31 NaZiyah replies, "Yes, she don't know about us." At 03:56 she says, "It's off." 03:57 Jarvis replies, "Wrong light." And at 03:57 she says, the letter K.
Were those messages deleted?
Yes.
Okay. And later in the day on July 24th.
July 24th at 12:22, NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, "Fuck me then." At 12:22, he replies, huh? And at 12:23, he replies, I'm trying to. At 12:23, NaZiyah sends to him, you said fuck me. At 12:23, she sends, so do so. 12:23, Jarvis replies, when? 12:23, NaZiyah replies, trying to make time, going through my schedule, RN, for right now. 12:24, NaZiyah sends, what time are you going to work? At 12:40, Jarvis replies, now. And now jumps to 21:20.
Bad gal to menace. That's exactly what she's doing. She's doing anything she thinks that she can to appease this man. That's all she's doing. You feel me? And it's so sad.
21 hours, NaZiyah sends WYD for what you're doing. Then at 21:23, she sends you free with some question marks. We now jump to July 25th. At 17:33 hours, NaZiyah sends, I want to fuck today. At 17:33 hours, Jarvis replies back, come on. And then immediately after, he replies, I'm by myself. At 17:33, she sends back to him, I can't RN for right now. At 17:34, NaZiyah sends, after work, can you call for me, please? And those messages were all deleted as well.
And now jumping to August 4th.
August 4, 2023, at 22:07 hours, NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, Shan and Nana left. DON, and then there's some type of emoji. Know what time they coming back. At 22:08, Jarvis replies, okay, what you saying? NaZiyah then replies back, what you think I'm trying to say. But there's some emojis in there again. At 22:09, Jarvis replies back with some type of emoji. NaZiyah then replies back, IDK, is it? I don't know, is it? At 22:09, NaZiyah sends, what you thinking? At 22:10, Jarvis replies to NaZiyah, are we fucking? At 22:10, NaZiyah sends, shit, are we? That's SHI. At 22:12, NaZiyah sends a bunch of question marks. Now it's August 5th. NaZiyah sends, wow, you stood me up. August 5th at 00:47, she sends, I was waiting. And then at 00:47, she sends, I a bum. And the next message after that is a correction that says, you a bum.
And were those deleted?
Yes.
And now jumping to August 26th.
Okay, I need it.
I need the time for a 15-minute break. We'll come back. 12:10.
Look at this little bitch ass. Look at him. Look at him. Trying to hurry up and trying to shuffle out of the court. Nah, nigga. Turn around. Take your mask off, punk. I can't stand this man hiding. You wasn't doing no hiding when you was texting this little girl. Now I need you to say it with look up, put your chin up. You know, this nigga was texting with so much, confidence. And now you get in this courtroom and it's like you a shell of a man. It makes me so sick, bro.
Okay, we are back on All Praise Are Present.
Well, I couldn't be judged. I'll make that nigga sit Indian style in the front of the court. Fuck his rights. You feel what I mean? He'd be sitting right on top of the typewriter to where everybody can see his ass. He be looking like the statue of Buddha, the way I had that nigga.
You took a 20-minute
I
break.
get so fucking
And
aggravated.
Ms. Ripley, you can continue with your question.
Thank you. Sergeant Jones, I believe we were leaving off at August 26th.
Why I get so fucking mad, bro?
So text messages from August 26, 2023, starting at 0909 hours. NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, I'm in so much pain right now. At 0909, 40 seconds, she says, my stomach hurts really bad. At 0937 hours, Jarvis attempts to call NaZiyah. It shows here missed call from Babe for Life. At 14:26 hours, NaZiyah texts Jarvis and says, I did have my period. It came when I was in the hospital. At 14:20 hours, this is now jumped to August 27th. 14:20 hours, NaZiyah sends GM for good morning. August 28th at 0.
Now, all right, hear me out. She was saying that her stomach's hurt so bad, and then she said something along the lines like she did have her period. It came when she was in the hospital. Do you think, by any chance, that this girl could have been so naive that she confused her period coming with her miscarrying? Because when I was thinking about some of the language she was using towards Jarvis, right? When he said something about, excuse me, but having an orgasm. She said something along the lines like, does that mean that I'm pregnant? She was asking about period. It was just certain things that she did not know when it came down to her body. So I want to know what's going on here, because if she was at the doctor, right, it says to me again that this had to be a time where Shannon and Annette, or at least Annette, if she was at the hospital, they wouldn't they have known? All right, let me just keep going. Hold on.
006 hours, NaZiyah sends to Jarvis, my stomach hurt real bad. 0055 hours, she sends, why you can't answer? 0056 hours, she sends, never mind this, you anyway. At 0131 hours, Jarvis replies to her, yes, baby. At 0132, NaZiyah replies, my stomach hurt really bad. At 0132 hours, Jarvis replies to her, I didn't nut inside of you. At 0133, NaZiyah replies, I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying it hurts really bad. At 0134, she says, are you busy? 0149, NaZiyah says, I want to talk to you about some, let me know when you are free. And these were all deleted.
Okay. And August 28th, later.
This nigga don't care at all. She just trying to tell you she don't feel good, and you just automatically assuming that she's talking about something else. This goes to show you how trifling this nigga is.
The day.
August 28th at 13:31 hours, NaZiyah sends a message to Jarvis that says, I want to try something. At 13:32, he replies back, what? Spelled W-A-T. At 13:32 hours, she says, a threesome. At 13:44 hours, NaZiyah sends, you down for it? Then she sends a question mark. At 13:44, Jarvis replies back, with who? 13:44, she replies, IDK, or I don't know yet, you got someone. At 13:45, she says, I'm still looking.
And were those deleted?
Yes.
Okay. And just a couple hours later on August 28th.
August 28th at 18:58 hours, NaZiyah sends, I feel you don't want to be bothered with me. 2200 hours, she sends, WYD for what you're doing. 2200 hours, she replies back. thinking about you. 22:01, she sends, oh, so are you down with the threesome? 22:21, he replies, yes, with who though? 22:46, she sends, IK, still looking. Then immediately after that, she replies, IDK for I don't know. It is now August 29th at 03:47. She sends, Bet, that's what's up. He replies, huh? NaZiyah then replies, none, we'll figure it out. At 03:49 hours, he sends what? She then replies back to him, never mind, NBM, are you busy? She then replies at 03:50, again, exactly, so I'll take that as a yes.
And were those deleted?
Yeah.
And now we're moving forward to, oh, sorry.
That's okay, go ahead.
We're moving forward to September 26th.
September 26th, starting at 14:31 hours, NaZiyah sends, Bae, you up? Some question marks. Then she sends another set of question marks. 14:32, he replies, yeah. 14:33, NaZiyah sends, my period haven't came at all. 14:36, she sends, hello, you there? With some question marks. 14:37, Jarvis replies to NaZiyah, what you mean? At 14:38, NaZiyah says, it have not came. 14:38, Jarvis replies to her, since when? NaZiyah then sends at 14:38, 42 seconds, since I was in a hospital. The next message is,
See, that's what I knew. It was something that wasn't adding up. So basically, something happened at that hospital where it wasn't her period. And see, she's saying it right now. I knew when we ran over this the first time, this was something that really was bothering me. So it let you said, or a subchronic hemorrhage. Okay, it could have been something. Okay, so we do know that that wasn't it. So whatever was going on, it was something else.
that was last month. I'm scared, I don't know, IDK, what to do. I have to go to the doctor's TM for tomorrow. At 14:41, Jarvis replies to NaZiyah and says, you said that you took a pregnancy test and it was negative. 14:41, she replies, it did. At 14:41, Jarvis then replies, so go get another one. At 14.
Okay, hear me out. This is what makes me feel like the family definitely knew, because now it makes me want to know, like, was this time the time that Shannon was talking to Roxy about in the house? Because she said she asked NaZiyah if she was pregnant, and she had a pregnancy test. I want to know, is this that time? Because this would be September now, right? Or past September. So, or this is around September. So I wonder if this is the time that they were talking about. Because even with him, I'm trying to understand how he wouldn't buy her pads. How would she have got a pregnancy test? She could have stole it. But this is what I'm saying. You feel me? When they was whispering in the kitchen and shit, I wonder if this was that time. Because any other time when they added up.
42, NaZiyah tells him on a text, I can't, I have no money.
Let's go back. And
Jarvis replies to NaZiyah, what you mean? At 14:38, NaZiyah says, it have not came. 14:38, Jarvis replies to her, since when? NaZiyah then sends at 14:38, 42 seconds, since I was in a hospital. The next message is, That was last month. I'm scared. I don't know, IDK, what to do. I have to go to the doctor's TM for tomorrow. At 14:41, Jarvis replies in NaZiyah and says, you said that you took a pregnancy test and it was negative. 14:41,
That's why I'm saying we missing some phones. We missing some phones. We never seen a dialogue. We never seen a text back and forth between the pregnancy test unless this was something that they talked about in person. But it's a lot of dialogue that's missing. Now either they kept it out from the preliminary and we might hear more about this shit with the trial, or we missing some devices.
replies, it did. 14:41, Jarvis then replies, so go get another one. At 14:42, NaZiyah tells him on a text, I can't, I have no money. After that, she says, you go get one. 14:43, she says, you ain't scared to get a plan B, get a pregnancy test, and bring it later today. Just act.
Hey. Hey, she ate. Facts. She said you can go get a plan B when you want to splack in a nigga, but you don't want to go get no pregnancy test. Hey, she was probably a little bit wiser than some of these grown folks. I hate to say it, but goddamn, shit.
Scared to get a plan B, get a pregnancy test, and bring it later today. Just act like you have to use the bathroom. At 14:36, she says, PLS for please. She then replies, will you do it, with some question marks. At 14:51, she says, hello, with a bunch of question marks. Then at 14:56, Jarvis replies to her with, okay.
Okay, and now the messages from 9:26 at 14:31 and 41 seconds, all the way to 14:39 and 42 seconds, were those deleted?
Well, so they're deleted from the 14:31, 41 seconds, all the way down to 14:39 and 13 seconds. Those are not deleted.
Okay.
Then there's two that are deleted, which are the two messages that talked about, I'm scared, I don't know what I have to do. I have to go to the doctor's tomorrow. And then the other one that she deleted was when it says, you said that you took a pregnancy test and it was negative.
Okay.
There's one that she did not delete that was, it did. Then the rest of them after that, where it talks about get another test, come upstairs, and put it in the bathroom, those messages were deleted.
Okay. And moving to September 27th.
September 27th, starting at 21:26 hours, NaZiyah sends, but are we still on for Friday? At 21:31, Jarvis replies, what you mean? 21:38, she says, are we still on for Friday? At 21:49, Jarvis replies, yes. 21:49, NaZiyah says the letter K. At 21:49, Jarvis then sends a text to her asking, what we doing though? At 21:49, she sends back, fucking. At 21:50, Jarvis replies.
This little girl don't even know what the fuck going on with her body, and you still want to just mishandle her, bro. This motherfucker was what you call one of the sickest motherfuckers ever. Now, what you got to also keep in mind is that in the midst of him just straight contaminating this little girl's life, and you can see she can't even be at school without this nigga disrupting her at school and shit. At this same time, simultaneously, he's trying to attack other family members of hers. Ain't that by the bitch? Like you gotta understand, around this same time too, he's going after other kids in the family. Fucking pathetic.
Seriously? 21:50.
You would think that the pregnancy shit would scare him with some more shit, and it ain't. So you gotta ask yourself, why is this nigga not being scared? Them other folks in the house had to know. This nigga is acting, he is moving like he ain't scared of shit. The only way people do this type of shit is that they know. When I looked at the video with NaZiyah and that bald-headed nigga, This man was drinking beer all in the video. He was comfortable. You're only comfortable like that when you have permission, my nigga.
NaZiyah replies, yeah, what else we gonna do? 2150, Jarvis replies back to her, where? NaZiyah then replies back immediately and says, IDK, or I don't know, you pick somewhere. Then at 2151, Jarvis sends to her, I always do. 2151, NaZiyah says, I know. At 2152, she says, I really just want to cuddle, but if you want to fuck, we can. 2152, 20 seconds, she says, so do you? With some question marks. 2152 and 35 seconds, Jarvis sends to her, do I weigh? Then right after that is a word that was corrected, like what? So it should have said, do I what? Then NaZiyah sends at 2152, wanna fuck. At 2153, she says, I just want to cuddle, but it ain't always what I want to do. At 2153, she says, so yes or no? At 2154, Jarvis replies, only if you want to. 2154, she says, okay, so we fucking then. 21.
He totally just ignores this girl's feelings about the cuddling shit. He gets real deaf when it comes down to that type of shit.
55, Jarvis replies, so stop talking about you want to cuddle then. 2155, NaZiyah replies, okay, damn, you don't have to be mean. At 2155, Jarvis replies, and it shows that he laughed at her comment about you don't have to be mean.
Okay, and were all of those messages deleted?
No.
Okay. Where does it start that it was deleted?
They do not start getting deleted until the messages that Jarvis sends to her, only if you want to. So we fucking then, stop talking about you want to cuddle. Those are the messages that were deleted.
Okay. And now we are moving forward to October 19th.
October 19th, 2023 at 22:23 hours, Jarvis sends NaZiyah a text that says, hey. She replies back, are you ignoring me? Jarvis then replies, no. It now jumps to October 21st at 19:05 hours. NaZiyah sends, hey babe, I need that plan B today. And
She think that poor baby. You know, he using her body and she don't even understand how it operates. Now, we're in October. Since September, she's been asking this nigga for a pregnancy test. She don't even know that what the plan B is for. She think that's just going to get rid of the baby. She don't even realize that you have an allotted time to use it.
19:07 hours, Jarvis sends her the letter Y. The next message isn't sent until October 22nd at 04:33 hours when NaZiyah replies back to him, WYMY, so for meaning, what you mean, why?
And were those deleted?
Yes.
And now jumping to November 27th.
Okay, so now we're getting into the -5 hours for the,
Okay.
November 27th, 2023 at 21:06 hours, NaZiyah sends, I just want to talk. I really don't want to lose you. At 21:09, she says, can we talk later, yes or no? At 22:28, she says, I don't want your problem, but I need you to bring me what I need tonight. It's hard doing all this gym shit with this baby. And if I don't do them, I'm going to get a F. 22.
So here, she's already feeling like she's with child, and this is almost with the end of October. Okay. Now we know since September she's been feeling like she's been missing her cycle since September. But preferably it probably was a little bit before then, but she didn't catch it into September. All right. So this we're in November now. So we got to look at this. So we're September, October, November. So we know that she got to be roughly around 3-4 months, right? Give or take. Now this is the thing that's so sad because he don't give two. He has still been trying to do it to this girl, ignoring her pleas for thinking that she's even pregnant. This is a sad, sick ass nigga.
28, she says, if you keep ignoring me, you just gonna get no more pussy. 22:35, she says, answer the phone, you not doing nothing. 22:36, she says, PLSSSS for please.
And were those deleted?
Yes.
And now, I'm going to jump ahead to January 9th of 2024.
January 9th, 2024 at 14:21, NaZiyah sent to Jarvis, don't forget, be there before 3. I will let you know when I'm leaving the school. If you
January 9th, a text message. Don't forget to be here at 3. Where is the text message or where is the dialogue with them even coming up to meet at 3? We're missing some electronics. We're missing some dialogue because you're not coming up with this type of text message. Don't forget, without having a established text message to meet. So therefore, this was her last thread of text. January 9th. This is the day that she went missing. You feel me? And the first text messages that they're saying or they're letting us know about is her saying, don't forget. So therefore, there had to have been an established text. So we're missing some devices. Or we're going to get more of this text context when it comes down to the trial next month. Because don't nobody come out and say some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Unless you already established something.
not there, I will wait. There 14.
January 9th of 2024.
January 9th, 2024 at 14:21, NaZiyah sent to Jarvis, don't forget, be there before 3. I will let you know when I'm leaving the school. If you're not there, I will wait. Then at 14:22, she sends, send okay if you've seen the message so I can delete your number. Then at 14:23, Jarvis replies, okay, and those messages will delete.
And there was no further communication between NaZiyah's text number and Jarvis's number after January 9th, 2024, 1 year ago today.
Yes.
I swear to God, like reading the text messages now, after reading the transcripts from other family members, and knowing some of the fill in the blank things that we know now, it makes it even more horrendous. It make it even more horrendous. So we got a timeline. September, we know she was in the hospital. We know she went at the hospital by herself. So either Shannon and or Annette had to been at that hospital with her. At this particular time, when she first was talking to Jarvis, she thought her period had came back. So there was something with some bleeding going on. We don't know what that bleeding was, but we know something was happening there to where she thought her period had came back. She did get out the hospital. Now we go from September now to October, all the way to November. You dig what I mean? And she's still saying that she has not had a period. Okay? We know in the November that was happening. In December, we know that there was some searches going on where he was trying to wonder how you can abort a kid and blah, blah, blah. We know that that was under Jarvis's Google searches, which we're going to go over tomorrow because it's a lot of forensic evidence that we want to go over again, especially after Kenya was saying that the other, I guess, blood that they found on the hoodie could in fact had, or DNA that they found on the hoodie could it in fact belong to NaZiyah's child. That's why they were saying that she might have been having a son, because there was some unidentified DNA that's on a hoodie. We wanted to go through it when she first said something, but we're definitely going to go through it now. You know what I mean? So we'll go through that tomorrow as well. And then the searches happen in November, December, and then in January, she's nowhere to be found. This is very iffy. But here's the thing. There's so many people that this situation can belong to. I'm just being honest. When we first did this trial, I was almost 100% certain that Jarvis acted out alone when we first started looking at it. But once we pulled back these layers, I really feel like this was a bigger picture to where it was more people involved. It's so easy for Shannon to have crashed out. It's so easy for her to have crashed out. Seriously. And I hope that it's a lot of singing going on soon. Now, I did do a reaction video to transcripts to where Jarvis Butts was offered a plea deal. He was offered a plea deal when it came down to the homicide. And as of right now, that plea deal was not taken. Now, from the way that I understand it, I don't know if Tone is still up under here. They will have until the end of this month, right, to accept any pleas. Because isn't it when the trial get ready to start, the pleas is off the table? So do he have a certain amount of allotted time to where he have to take this plea deal? Any of you very smart law folks, let me know. Because I think what they're doing, he has until January 23rd. They ain't put an expiration date on it. That's what I remember here. I do remember him saying that. Now, so my question is, being that they don't have an expiration date on it, they have all the way up to trial for this to happen. What I'm thinking that Jarvis is doing right now is that he is right now facing a total of almost 5-6 cases. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tone. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody else. But he has a lot of pending cases. What I've been saying since last year is that I think that he's going to wait until everything is on the table so he'll know what he's facing with everything. Okay? So therefore, he knows when to accept the plea. Okay? So right now, what I think he's doing is he's waiting to everything to finish compiling. So therefore, he will be able to negotiate him maybe leaving jail one day. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. So this is what I'm trying to figure out what's going on. We're going to figure out what's going on. I'm thinking he's saving his trump card. If people like Shannon is involved, he is going to wait. He is going to wait to where he'll be able to have the best deal for himself. A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, he don't want neither one, he don't want both of them to be in jail. He don't give a fuck. How do y'all think that this man gives a fuck about Shannon being there to raise his kids if he don't give a fuck about his kids? Seriously. This man was hurting his own daughter. He don't give a fuck if Shannon is there to raise them. He don't care. You dig what I mean? He really don't. So we're going to wait and see. But we got some other testimony that we're going to go through, you know what I mean, or whatever. We won't go through the whole preliminary, but we will go through some of the stuff that I know I want to review, since we got other aspects of what might have been happening around this time, like dead serious. Now, if you want to go through the preliminary in its entirety, I think I seen Tone doing it, Go check out Tone. You feel what I'm saying? And we already did a majority of this preliminary hearing. You can also click on my playlist and go back and review. You feel what I mean? But we're going to see. We're definitely going to see. But I definitely think that he's holding a trump card right now just to see. Y'all hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.